Hey, y'all got any of them books there? I need to get me some books so I can sell them books for some gold. Yeah, I gotta get me some gold because I need to sell them. I need to sell them books for some. I need to sell them books for some gold. All right, so we're gonna talk about farming books. Let's get into it. Alright, so as you guys know, you need a lot of gold for a bunch of different stuff in the game, and right now the best way to get gold fast is by farming books, preferably when they're on half stamina event. And so in order to do that effectively, it's good to have a team that can really farm them fast during the event so you can get as many runs in as you can. So here's the team that we're going to run. This is a little bit of a sleeper team, and I'll explain why it's so good, and I'll show you some examples. Hauser is really not a secret. Everybody knows Hauser is the best farming unit in the game. He's got Pierce, he's got Sever, he's got great stuff. But check out Gila. We're going to use Gila as actually kind of our secret weapon here to power through these stages. And she's got Ignite on her first skill. I mean, she's a healer, so yes, she can heal, but obviously we're not really going to use her because of her healing. Her skill 1 is not bad. It's got Ignite on it, which is usually going to get used first by the AI. Her ult is pretty good. Because she's SR, it's easy to level up. But check out her passive. Her passive is what's really going to bring this together. We're going to farm on Red Book stage, and we're going to do it in a way where we can one-shot all the waves. And if you can one-shot all the waves, she's not going to take any damage every turn. And so this passive is going to fill up one orb every turn, and the result is going to be that 95% of the time she's going to have ult by the time you get to the third wave, and we're basically just going to one-shot it. This is going to mean farming is super effective, super smooth. We're also going to use Merlin as our sub-slot to start everybody out with one ult gauge, which is going to contribute to the strategy we just talked about. So basically we'll start with one ult gauge. Gila, basically, if she gets a single card played, she's going to have ult by the time we get to the third wave, and then basically she's going to use that ult to wreck people's faces. So with that, I'm going to show you guys a couple of clips of how this works, and then I'll talk about kind of the average time that it takes for this team to work. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that if you can't one-shot these waves, this is probably not going to be your optimal setup. The reason it's good is because if you can one-shot the waves, Gila will never get hit, and she stacks her passive. She doesn't stack it, but she uses her passive to stack ult bubbles. If you are getting hit, then there's a chance that Gila is going to get hit each time you don't one-shot a wave, and that's going to mean that she doesn't stack her passive. So it's going to make things a little bit less reliable, and there are probably better options if that's the case. So let's jump into this. We're going to use a timer, and we're going to start the timer when we see the word start, and we're going to stop the timer when we see the word finish, and I'll talk about why that is here in a second. So I'm just going to let the AI run. We're not going to be doing anything. You can see that she uses her skill 1 Ignite, does pretty good damage, go there, finishes them off. And when I say one-shot the waves, it doesn't mean one-shot with a single skill. It just means that during your turn, between your 3 skills that the AI plays, that you can do enough damage to kill all the enemies in one go. It's okay if it takes a couple cards. The strategy works just as well. So there's a second wave. So here comes the third wave. You'll see that she has ult, and if the AI were smart, it would probably use that ult first every time. It doesn't always do that, so let's see what it does here. Okay, it uses Hauser ult. That's pretty reasonable. His ult is pretty good too. So that does a lot of damage. Then Gila ults. I mean, it's very possible that multiple characters will have ult by the third turn, and you could even just have that happen randomly if you use any other farming team too, but it's not going to happen quite as often. I'll play another run for you guys here, and you'll see that it's just very consistent. The reason that we time from the word start to the word finish is because everybody's load time and things like that on the load screens are going to be a little different. So just to be fair, that people using different phones or different emulators, to kind of remove that variable, we just time it from the start to the finish so that other people can more easily compare against these times. So we got about what, 55, maybe a little less than 55 seconds on the last run. We'll see what we get this time. In general, it should be, you know, less than a minute. It should be between 45 seconds and a minute, which is pretty good. Okay, so she should have ult here. I'll show you the passive. She's got ult. Let's see what the AI does. Oh, it uses the ult first. That's good. The ult first is actually really good because it applies... Okay, so she one-shots it there, but if she doesn't one-shot it, it's good to use the ult first when the AI does that, because it also applies the ignite debuffs, which means any other skills used that turn are going to do extra damage. So how long does this strategy take? We saw one run at 50, a little less than 55 seconds, one at 45 seconds. It really depends on what order the AI uses to play the cards. 45 seconds is on the lower end, 55 seconds is probably closer to average. I went ahead and ran it 100 times because I wanted to get a good average value that I could give you guys that would be representative of what it's going to do, kind of, you know, on average over time. And over that 100 times, the average time that it took, again, this is between the word start and the word finish, was 56.5 seconds. So under a minute, I think that's pretty good. This is what I use to farm books when it's an event and it's half stamina and I need to get a lot of them in. Alright, so I hope this is helpful for you guys. Like I said, this is a good strategy to use when you need to get a lot of runs in a short period of time. I'll probably do another video about overnight farming and ways to maximize the amount of benefit you get from overnight farming without using a bunch of stamina potions. But for now, this is it for today, so I hope it was helpful, and thanks for watching.